What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 1109 of Pop Culture Crisis. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic Friday today. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I was just ranting to Brett about
the jelly donuts.
Yeah, I'm really hungry. I don't know.
What was wrong with the jelly? Can you tell me what was wrong with the jelly donut? I'm curious.
Oh, I was eating donuts. So that's the beginning of the story. And I don't know. I guess in my mind, a jelly donut just seemed really appealing. And I bit into like the middle of it, and the jelly was not jellying. The jelly was actually more like, it was more like that artificial syrup, like the Hershey's brand strawberry syrup that kids like to put on ice cream sundaes.
Yeah.
It was not giving jelly. Like there was no hint of anything fruit-like in that donut. So I had a palate cleanse with a glazed donut, just a plain. Yeah, which is always better anyway.
Oh yeah, 100. I was never a fan of like any type of filled donut though. So I was. There's this. I forget the guy's first name. It's something Fox. It's this fitness YouTuber who does the most ridiculous videos where it's like I ate nothing but red dye 40 for 4 days. But one of them was like I ate nothing but 0-calorie food for 5 days, and one of them was like zero calorie peanut butter, and it was basically liquid. It was disgusting.
What does that even mean? How is that even possible?
It's not. It's like it dripped out of the jar.
That has to be a lie. Like that has to just be like mislabeled.
He's like, no, you're literally
illegal.
You're poisoning yourself with all the extra chemicals being like pumped into these foods.
He ate 0 calories for 5 days.
0-calorie foods for 5 days. Yeah. It's I gotta find. I don't know the guy's first name, but his videos are really, really funny. Where it's like I mentioned this one the other day, where he did one where it's like I ate nothing. I drank nothing but energy drinks for a week. Or for like 2 days, and he does like he slowly descends into like a bit of madness as he's going to bed, but like it's intercut with like different like skits about that give like graphics about how caffeine affects your brain and adenosine and all this stuff. It's very ridiculous, and he'll never be able to do it into his 30s. His body will not accept it, but it's very good content. He's
just
very
built
smart.
Different.
He is.
But I always think my worst nightmare is that the Taco Bell hot sauce is not actually 0 calories as advertised, because it's just too good. It doesn't make sense to me that it's 0 calories.
I think he mentioned in one of
the
these
law,
videos.
yeah, like according to the law, like the FDA, you can label something as 0 calories as long as its portion size is below 10 or something.
Under 5, I think. I think
5? Is it 5? Okay.
So that's
slightly better.
That's the crazy thing. Okay, so that answers my question. There are like, when you get like the 0-calorie, like seltzer, or it's not seltzer waters, but like the soda waters. They're not soda, but and it says somehow it's 0-calorie serving, 10 calories in the bottle. And I'm like,
Right.
Does that mean?
No, that is when I stopped counting. I cannot believe that you count the calories in cold brew. It does not count as far as I am concerned. It says the same thing on my Gatorade Zero, which I will not live without.
Yeah.
I have a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. Question: Disney announced that Mandalorian and Grogu and Moana will make a profit if you include parks admissions and merch related to the IP. My extra strength bullshit detector went off like an air raid siren. Do you agree?
Look.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so, I mean, outside of them, like, I would need to see some statistics or some information on how they came to that information. So if the idea here is that, like, I guess, like, there's Moana and Mandalorian stuff at the theme parks, do you do surveys with people that say, like, why did you come today?
Right, that's how it would make sense, but they can't even do that feasibly.
And
the parks and the merch should be profitable ventures in and of themselves, not insurance policies for movies not making their money back.
Well, no. So the idea here is then what you're doing in Pop Culture Junkie, you're obviously more in tune with the industry than I am. But that feels like what you're doing then is you're turning the movies into like a loss leader, like the hot dogs at Costco, where it's like you lose money on the hot dogs every single time. But
that's like crazy work for a movie that costs, $300 a pop, or $300 million a pop rather.
So they've basically turned their IP into the loss leader. And that's the funny thing. So the funny thing right now is like everybody's talking about Spider-Man. It's going to cross supposedly it's going to cross $2 billion at the box office in its second weekend. I think, I haven't watched his video on it yet, but I think Odin from OMB Reviews is being a little bit more conservative in his estimates there. But these are the numbers that they're saying. And to be fair, when people said 800 million opening for Spider-Man, I thought they were smoking crack. So I was like, okay, that seems a little excessive to me. I was 110% wrong. So be that what it is. Like Marvel laughs all the way to the bank, even though this is Sony taking home the majority of the money from that box office, because Spider-Man makes money at the box office, sure, but Spider-Man makes a crap ton of money on merch. That's where Spider-Man's real profitability is, and Marvel still owns all the rights to the merchandising stuff for Spider-Man. So,
well, I suppose they would still make the movies if they weren't profitable for the sake of the merch.
They will.
I understand that, but it shouldn't just be the way you accept it is now.
Are they like Look, maybe I'm just disconnected, but is Grogu merch really still selling hot in the
that
big
feels
T6?
like, yeah, people liked that, like, in COVID era.
Yeah.
It's not really a thing anymore to see those on like bumper stickers and mugs.
I am going to talk tomorrow, guys. So tomorrow on the bonus episode on the Discord, which I will be doing at 7 p.m. tomorrow, you guys should all show up. If you're not yet a member, sign up for a Timcast Discord membership so you can. I am going to do a segment, one on the Paramount and the Paramount and Warner Brothers merger, being stopped right now because of the most recent updates, as well as David Ellison's op-ed that he wrote. But also I'm going to talk about The Rock's response to Moana not making any money, which as far as I'm concerned, hang it in the Louvre. It's literally, it's like, if you liked it, great. If you didn't, that's okay too, which is, Are
you saying that you think that was the correct response? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did kind of go on afterwards and wax a little bit poetic about like the cultural influence the movie will have, to which I'm like Moana.
Remember that video of the Disney chick who was like doing some kind of Polynesian cultural cry?
Yes.
Yeah, that was purely for white women.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
So, the rest of it was a little bit, I thought that was a little bit copish, but the general response is exactly what you want from a celebrity. You want them to basically be like, you know what? If you liked it, if you didn't, aw shucks, we tried. And then go on and try again with your next movie if you must. So we got a bunch of stuff to get into today, guys. But before we do get started, hit the like button on the episode and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the episode out with your friends, your family, your loved ones, everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share the show with, the faster the channel can grow. Also, just as a reminder again, Timcast Discord show this Saturday at 7 p.m. Also, not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday, I'm going to be having an entire bonus episode with Blabs from Side Scrollers. We're going to be getting into more Harry Potter news, the possibility of a new trailer coming up. There are rumors. Also, boycotts galore going on because there's always a boycott. You know how I always say, like, there's a women's summit going on somewhere? There's a boycott going on somewhere for something.
Yeah. 24/7.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing that that'll be live not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And I will set that up as a live premiere. And then I might jump into the chat with you guys if anybody comes to watch it as it's airing. That'll be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. What are we getting into today? We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Number one, of course, being that, I suppose before we do anything, would you please have a seat? Because we're going to be talking about Robert Pattinson. He is playing Chris Hansen in this new movie called Primetime, which, from everything that I've seen online, I've saved my first viewing of the trailer until we're live today. I wanted to live react to this, but the general consensus that I have seen on X is a certain amount of people being like, this seems oddly, I guess, what would you say? It's oddly sympathetic.
Critical. It's critical toward Chris Hansen, which some people are interpreting as sympathetic to the people that he did sting operations on to get them charged. But it remains to be seen once it's fully out in September. I am really excited to see it. And the trailer, I think the trailer is really well done.
This is me and you can have your art house. I want to see the I Play Rocky. That's as close as I get to like nerdy ass. That what? I don't know who makes it, but you know, that's as close as I get to becoming an A24 letterboxed American, is wanting to see something like that. So we are going to talk about that today, and we're also going to talk about method acting. It is the product of lame, awful men, you know, mediocre men. They're the ones who do method acting. And oddly enough, despite the feminist angle of Anya Taylor-Joy's words, I think there's actually some truth, at the very least, to what Kristen Stewart said maybe a year ago or so, when she said that method acting is a way for men to not feel silly while they're doing their jobs. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about it. Also, did you know that in the midst of Burrito Gate, there is also Trinket Gate? Which,
I'm so glad that we're not talking about Burrito Gate. Which
is going to make you wonder how in gosh's name we could be in an affordability crisis when there is Trinket Gate. You will have questions, I will have questions. We will all ask those questions, and then we will
Okay, I should at least hint that is because people are installing trinket trading boxes in towns all across the country. And it's turned into a massive, like, civil war between trinket collectors about what is a trinket, what counts as a fair trade, and like they're installing cameras. It's like a mini police state around every single trinket box.
I'm kind of here for it. Like, eventually what we're going to have to get is one of these women to get a pair of meta glasses and start doing like confrontation videos where she confronts people who go to her.
It's just the opposite of whimsical and fun.
We've got a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. Do you have that one there?
Yep. That's exactly what they were saying, that they can afford to make movies that don't make their box office, and they'll make it back on the parks and merch. I bet they're counting the original Star Wars films merch. Not fair. That's true.
It does feel like it's a bit of like they're acquiescing to their mediocrity. They've just given up. They're like, you know what?
It used to be that the movies made money and the parks made money.
Yes.
Both.
So you know what? That feels like a bit of a cop-out to me.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, I don't run a billion-dollar corporation, so what the fuck?
You tell them, Brett. No, you know better how to run a mega corporation. Then what is the guy's name? What is the CEO's name?
Josh D'Amaro.
Josh D'Amaro, yeah. You know better than him.
If I had Elon Musk's money, I would just solve world hunger. That's what I would do. I'd be Batman.
Disney should solve world hunger.
They should do that. All right, we've got that. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff. If you're ready to go, Mary, we can just get into it. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, let's go for it then, guys.
I apologize, but it is once again time to talk about Ariana Grande and her entire situation. And it's gotten worse. She just appeared in a TikTok video posted by her own cosmetics brand called REM Beauty and did this promo where you can just show it. We don't need to play this video with sound. It's kind of irrelevant. So just pull up the video for me here. You can see that in the video, she sits down cross-legged on the carpet here and just, appears very small. And like, it's always on the edge of plausible deniability with this woman. Because, of course, she is petite, but also she does things intentionally to appear smaller. And she places herself next to certain objects to compare the size of her body to whatever object it may be. Okay, on top of that,
so you're saying that this is an intentional choice that's done to highlight it on purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. On top of that, I'm sorry, but sitting on carpets like that is something that children do. She's also playing with this teddy bear And again, you have plausible deniability because this is an actual product sold by her cosmetics brand. It's like a lipstick holder. But still, people find it weird. One of the quote tweets says, "Looking frail, talking and dressing like a child, playing with dolls. Do y'all still not get it? Or are you still in denial?" And I also wanted to show this photo that she posted last year. This was probably back in the era where they were filming Wicked. She posted this photo in the middle of a carousel, and it's her sitting inside a guitar case. I don't know why you would do that other than to draw attention to the size of your body and how small you are.
That one seems more blatant to me.
Yeah, but still, it's one that gets cited often when people are talking about her issues.
The blonde hair doesn't help her in that case. It makes her pallor look really unhealthy.
Yeah, and she was even at a state back then during Wicked filming when people were saying this is turning into a crisis. As for her tendency to liken herself to a child, I would say it's even worse than Sabrina Carpenter. And back in, I think, like 2014, she was in a relationship with this artist, Big Sean, this rapper.
Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about Big Sean in a decade.
Yeah, I don't think he's been relevant for quite a while. But back then, they were dating. And there was this little piece in a tabloid magazine at the time called "Stop the Baby Talk." It says, Ariana Grande may be a former Nickelodeon star, but that doesn't mean she needs to still sound like one. The singer, 21, who has been dating Big Sean, 26, since August, has been driving her beau up the wall with her constant need to talk in a baby voice. Instead of saying, "I'm thirsty," she'll pout her lips and say, "I want to drink a little juice," a pal tells Star. Sean thought she was kidding at first, but now he's had it. To make matters worse, or more disturbing, insiders say Ariana brings out the baby talk when she and Sean get intimate.
Oh no.
So long on so many levels.
No.
Yeah.
I was so much happier before you said that.
And everyone remembers that photo, that infamous photo of her walking with Pete Davidson in a paparazzi photo, and she's staring at him with a lollipop in her mouth.
Yeah.
And she just posted a similar photo this past month, like making the doe eyes in the camera with the lollipop in her mouth. It's just disturbing. And like, I do think it is past the point where people are just saying that she's infantile because of her size or her face.
Okay, so
anyways,
okay. Is this the type of thing where it makes people feel uncomfortable because that type of talk feels like the type of brain degradation you'd go through if your body was just eating itself and then suddenly you revert back to a prior state?
Definitely. You definitely will like psychologically regress if you're starving your brain of nutrients. And like, let's armchair for a second, because there are a lot of theories flying around about what is motivating her to starve herself. And I'm just taking that as a given at this point. I do not think there's some other underlying cause. I do think she has an eating disorder, and it's beyond the point of, people having the ability to deny it. So let's just go with that as our running theory.
Okay.
People are claiming this has to do with childhood neglect. And I will say there is some truth to that. Like, I'm sure emotionally neglected children are at a far higher risk of all mental illnesses, including eating disorders. And 95% of those cases start between the ages of like 12 and 25. When it gets to someone in their 30s, that is definitely an outlier, especially in a case this extreme and long running. Like, this is chronic at this point.
Okay.
But there are people saying that you can develop these coping mechanisms and cling to them throughout adulthood if you were sleep trained as a baby. And if you don't know because you don't interact with crazy mom forums, they're referring to a practice of timing how often or how quickly you come to comfort your baby when your baby starts crying in the middle of the night.
Okay.
And this is highly controversial. I don't even know if I have an opinion on it, because I don't think you have a right to an opinion on it if you don't have experience as a parent of a newborn. But it's highly controversial because some people think you can damage a child's nervous system for life permanently and cause mental illness by doing this, especially if you use the cry it out method where you basically just ignore it. So there's one theory, and there is another theory that people develop severe eating disorders in order to look frail so that they can receive nurturing that they perhaps didn't receive when they needed it as a child. So theoretically, you would think if she has issues that run this deep, she would be in intensive, long-term therapy for it. People believe they have finally found her therapist on social media. There is a general consensus that it is a woman named Terry Cole. And Ariana recently liked a post from Terry Cole. And it says, unfortunately, I can confirm that not everyone will like the healthier version of you. That's okay. Get healthier anyway.
Does she actually explain what that means? What healthier means in this context?
I think it could mean something very different to someone like Ariana Grande.
Are we talking physically healthy? Okay, let's not even go esoteric. Are we talking physically healthy or mentally healthy?
Both. Let's say both.
Okay.
And I would guess that Ariana Grande has a very skewed idea of what it means to be healthy if she is still insisting to everyone that she is healthy, and her team is insisting the same thing. So someone quote tweeted this and said, I don't know what's crazier, the post itself, the fact that her therapist has a public Instagram with hundreds of thousands of followers, or the fact that her fans know who her therapist is.
Actually, that is kind of weird. So I always imagine that like front-facing celebrities would go out of their way to find therapists with like no social media footprint just to ensure that they don't get the urge to like share some story even if the name is not attached or something like that. But then who are the people that go to like the online, like the social media therapists, the ones who are licensed and also have a following
and are best-selling authors? Yeah,
or even think who's it? Dr. Mike, the YouTube doctor. Who's actually going to Dr. Mike? I don't know what his specialty is, but I don't know if he has a general practice or if he's a surgeon or what he is. I'm sure there's plenty of people there. I guarantee you there's at least somebody in our live chat that's, knows what Dr. Mike's specialty is. But like, who is the class of person that can afford to go to like the famous therapist? Because the ones that could theoretically afford it the most aren't going to want to go to somebody that front facing unless they're going to collab, in which case that's just really depressing.
People, especially on like right-wing Twitter, have very strong opinions about therapy and therapists. And the worst things that they say about therapists most certainly apply to celebrity therapists, because they benefit greatly from basically not helping somebody become self-sufficient and developing healthy coping mechanisms. To make matters worse, due to my brief inquiry into this woman, it appears there are some serious breaches of ethics, because she has interacted with Ariana Grande fan accounts publicly before for a very long time. And someone said Terry is laughing all the way to the bank as we speak, in before she purposefully drives Ariana more insane to make an extra buck. And I think that's a fair read of it. She's clearly wealthy on her own. She's the author of a book called Too Much, a guide to breaking the cycle of high-functioning codependency. Another one is called Boundary Boss, the essential guide to talk true, be seen, and finally live free. So she sounds like a charlatan. And we're to believe that Ariana is stepping back to seek help from the likes of Terry Cole. I don't have high hopes for how that is going to turn out for her. But I also want to add, by the way, I posted about Ariana Grande on Instagram yesterday, And I was making the point that I made on Monday, which is that the vast majority of people don't have any problem with Ariana continuing to get sicker as long as she doesn't post pictures or, profit off of it in the public eye. And that's because we have a very nihilistic culture that doesn't respect the sanctity of human life. And they genuinely think that she has a right to destroy herself.
Can I ask where you think that comes from? I imagine that there is a large component of this that comes back to the idea of what people used to consider to be a pretty inoffensive term, which was live and let live. But this isn't even live and let live. This is
live and let die.
Live and let die, like a James Bond movie.
We've come full circle.
Yeah.
And
that's what it feels like.
I shouldn't be surprised, but I was surprised to see a lot of people in my comments quite literally saying that they are either pro-suicide or neutral on the matter, and that they do think it is a human right, and that the government and your family and friends should have zero say in whether you choose to end your own life. And it is really a technicality whether you seek out the MAID program or something similar to achieve that end.
That is a side effect of a culture that has grown so narcissistic that they don't understand that you have a duty to the people in your life that you both love and spend your time with, and that your life is, as long as you are a human being interacting in the real world with people that you love. Now, I'm not talking about the people you work with. I'm talking about family, friends, people that you enter into a social relationship with, your family because you're born into it, and it's your family, your friends because you make that choice. The second you enter into that, you have a responsibility to them. And there is a large portion of the public that just doesn't believe that to be true. Yeah. And it always kind of comes back to they always make it about sick and suffering. And then it degrades from sick and suffering into mentally unwell. And it's always framed as like, well, it's their choice. I'd like to believe that most of the TV shows that I've watched in my lifetime that cover this topic, at the very least, they don't straw man it, and they present you a case of, at least one person who's like, no, you're being selfish. And I feel like that at one point was the dominant narrative. It is a selfish act to do so.
Yeah, I think we've just reached such a point of like nihilistic brain rot that no one can agree whether human lives have inherent value and whether we have inherent dignity. And clearly a lot of the people responding to this story, because it's highly visible, are expressing that and laying bare the nihilism that has overtaken our culture.
And that's beyond just like you as a human being have a duty to your friends and loved ones beyond just simply showing up every day. But at the bare minimum, showing up every day and doing everything in your power to deal with the demons you're facing down. And then somebody's going to conflate that and be like, well, it's not easy. No, it's not easy. Life is a hell of a thing to happen to a person, but it's still your responsibility to take care of all that life throws at you the best you can, because you have a duty not just to yourself, but to the people that you love.
I see this in the conversations around the issue of abortion as well. I see a lot of people saying that they like wish that they were aborted, or that they didn't ask to be born, and that it's an imposition on someone's autonomy to even conceive of them biologically. Like, I don't even know where to start with.
There's no answer
with countering that narrative.
There's philosophers would have to do that.
Last month, I was researching this photography project that was called the suicide sign, which is kind of a misnomer. It was a cardboard sign that a lot of Warped Tour musicians would hold up in this project, and it had a message of suicide prevention on it. And I was like, this only happened about 10 or 15 years ago. Why does it feel so dated? Why does it feel so kind of like chuggy, corny? And it's because people don't believe that suicide should be prevented anymore. Honestly, that's something that has become clear to me in the last few days. Anyways,
all right.
Sorry to start it off with such a dark subject matter. Let's move on.
Let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into.
So I want to ask the audience and poll you guys on this issue. How do you gracefully reject someone after 1 to 3 dates? You have a few options. Number one, you can just ghost them. Number two, you can send an HR text, and I'm sure you've heard this lingo before, which basically politely explains to a person you don't want to see them anymore, but not explaining why. And your third option is that you could just go scorched earth and list out the reasons why you don't want to see this person anymore, probably deeply wounding their ego in the process. So I think those are the main options. If there are any others, please list them off in the chat.
How would you like to be broken up?
An HR text screenshot just got significant attention on X, and I'm just going to take this at face value. It could very well be a fake interaction completely, but West Side LA guy claims this is a text he received from a woman he had been on a couple of dates with. It says, "It was so great meeting you the other week, but I want to be honest, I don't see this going anywhere. I think you're awesome. I just want to be upfront so I don't waste anybody's time." He responded saying, "All good. You've been pumped and dumped by so many guys that you lost the ability to pair bond. I get it. Take care and best of luck."
Look, I know that you and I know the topic of pair bonding has come up in this show when we're discussing some type of weird, topic related to like the gender wars. But if you're bringing up pair bonding in text messages to people you've been on 3 dates with, you're cooked. Your brain is cooked.
Oh, yeah.
You are gone. You're gone, dude. Like, there was nothing wrong with it. This has to be fake. That was literally the most rational response I've ever seen. Up front, didn't waste your time, didn't lead you on. It's a little bit informal, but guess what? 3 dates is still very much an informal stage. So what do you want them to do?
Another such HR text that was posted around last year says, "Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to get to know me. I've connected with someone else that I'm excited to move forward with. I hope you find what you're looking for." So that one, probably a little more controversial. Maybe you don't mention the fact that you're passing them over for a better option, but still basically decent, respectful, honest.
If it had been like, if it had been like, you know what, my ex is back in the picture and we thought we'd give it another shot, that's less weird.
I guess.
But either way.
Yeah. There is maybe a virtue in omitting certain truths that the other person probably isn't entitled to know anyway. So most of the replies here were agreeing that this guy is cooked and that he basically gave her the W in this by showing how emotionally invested he was in such a nascent relationship, if you can even call it that.
It's literally the trope of like the over the top guy in like a movie who asks a girl on a date and she says no and he's like, "Fuck you, I didn't want to go out with you anyways."
Right.
Like it feels like that's not a real person because like no decent person can imagine somebody behaving like that. But we all know that that type of person in the movie, stereotypes exist for a reason because somewhere out there is a douchebag like that. And this guy is just giving off the same insecure energy.
Yeah, you just seem insecure and salty, and you confirm her suspicions that you weren't relationship material in the first place by replying this way. But there were, I must say, a lot of responses from guys to this tweet saying that she went about this incorrectly, and they had suggestions for how women ought to reject men. Oh. And they say, and I kid you not, they say they want to hear the actual reasons why someone isn't interested in them.
So they can like fix them?
List it out. Yeah, whether it's, you have a stutter, you have bad breath, you don't look like your photos on the dating app, whatever it may be, they want it specifically listed out for them like an exit interview, like a performance review, which in a way is way more HR coded than what we just read off.
And they're lying anyways, because if they actually listed that stuff off, they would do the proper thing, which would be to probably get a little bit defensive and be like, well, fuck you then. Because if they said that stuff, it would come across as rude.
And super bitchy, yes. But one of the replies asked, how should she have phrased the text then? Here's one suggestion. Hi, I enjoyed our dates together, but I don't think we're a match. All the best. 17 words, not 40 words, mostly propping him up just to softly reject him like a job application rejection. Just be direct.
Maybe we need to get back into the skill set of the compliment sandwich. You know, like that's an important skill set to have. You say something nice, then you give the reasons, then you say something nice on the way out, and you make your exit.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Here's the thing: what if it's true that, you know, she doesn't have the ability to pair bond? Like, you can't possibly know that. But what's the use in pointing it out?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's probably projection, anyways.
Is he expecting her to be like, "Wow, I didn't think of that"?
Yeah,
let's try.
I guess you're right. Let's go on another date.
Let's go on another date and let's test your hypothesis.
Can fix me.
That's not gonna happen.
Another person said, I don't understand what a not feeling it text is supposed to say other than this, to which one person replied, it's the same expectation as every text up to and including that one and everyone after. Write it yourself. The canned response from a greeting card starts to feel like an HR text after you receive the exact message, word for word, from women over a prolonged period of time.
Why not just like, look, okay, since you're being petty and your response here is petty, maybe you get your small victory by just ghosting her after that text. It's not nice, right, but she would at least probably, if she's a rational person, which this whole text up here tells me she's a pretty rational and probably emotionally well-adjusted person, then she'll be like, you know what? I don't like it, but I get it.
Well, as you already pointed out, this person said, honest question for all of the young single dudes who complain about the HR text. Would you rather women be brutally honest about why you're not getting a second date? Because I don't think you're going to like it too much if women stop being polite and start getting real. The proper response to this HR text, by the way, is thank you, pleasure meeting you. Then you move the F on. It's not a big deal.
It's actually a flex to be like, all right, well, thanks for going out and be good. Like, it's a flex to be like, at least feign that you got some shit going on in your life. So you're like, you know what? I don't need her. Like, I'm on to the next one.
Regardless, though, there were plenty of replies from men saying they actually would prefer brutal honesty. I don't think they actually do. I think that's a stated and not a revealed preference. Another one said, how about the truth? Don't tell someone it was great meeting you and you're awesome, but I don't want to see you anymore. It's an obvious lie, which makes you seem irrational.
No, it's a pleasantry.
Tell the truth no matter how trivial or insignificant your actual problem is.
It is a social pleasantry, and social pleasantries are what our entire society is built upon. When you go down the street and you give somebody a polite nod, you are effectively helping keep society running. Okay? It doesn't matter if you don't necessarily give a crap about that person, but you know what? You both occupy space and you're breathing the same air, therefore you should be a generally polite person because that's how we keep Western society running.
I agree, but I came across an interesting theory as to why women gravitate towards this HR voice, because it is true. It sounds like you could put best regards at the end of the message. And here's the theory. Women are more likely to experience violence while dating, if you're dating men. So they say this is a way to mitigate the risk of violence and aggression from someone who you don't really know their character and if they're capable of something like that. So they will say, we send HR texts because we're afraid of violent retribution.
Well,
which is unlikely, but always possible from a stranger you don't know.
And if you met him online, you better not have given him your address on the first or second date.
Yeah, that's been another huge dating discourse recently about the Uber thing. Have you seen this?
No.
Okay, so apparently some women think that men should pay for their Uber to the date.
No.
Which I think is weird on so many levels for so many reasons. The first of which, you know, from a woman's perspective, why the hell would I want to give this stranger I've never met my home address in order for them to book me an Uber? That seems like the first problem of many.
Pay for the meal, yes. Pay for the Uber, no.
The Uber is weird and like gives off escort energy. But that's just my opinion on it. But as for the HR text, what do you think though? Genuinely, if the two best options are ghosting or HR text, do you think the HR text is better than saying nothing?
I'm like, luckily I'm married, so none of this really matters to me. But like, I'm emotionally detached, so ghosting probably wouldn't, like, it would be like vague. It's disrespectful and rude, but I'd just move on because it's not worth my, like, I feel like giving them any extra time worrying about it is actually an even bigger win. You're giving this person who's clearly being very rude to you. So I would just move on. But I'm completely fine with the HR text, especially in the informal setting in which most of these dates are being found, which is probably online dating.
This whole conversation reminded me of a viral tweet from several years ago about HR texts sent to friends. Because I do think HR language and attitudes have kind of infected every area of society, and that is a bad thing. But it was because someone offered a template on how to respond to someone if you don't have the space to support them as a friend. And here was the template. Hey, I'm so glad you reached out. I'm actually at capacity / helping someone else who is in crisis / dealing with some personal stuff right now. And I don't think I can hold appropriate space for you.
No, we're back to holding space.
At later date or time instead. Do you have someone else you could reach out to?
The HR text doesn't work when we're talking about somebody who's already developed a close social relationship with you.
Yeah, I agree. You owe more to a friend than someone that you've been on 2 or 3 dates with.
Just like I was talking about earlier. Like you know, it's not always going to be easy. Sometimes somebody's going to emotionally drain you like a vampire, and that's going to be a thing. There is a sense that there are people like that do it incessantly, and it's never a two-way street in the friendship, right? Where they're always in need and you never are, in which case you need to be pretty clear with them that that behavior is wearing on you. Unless you're just Wilson from House and you just constantly let another person be that to you. You know, you have to be that for them. But no, you owe more to somebody you're closer to than you do to somebody you've been on 2 or 3 dates with.
I'm sure you could have surmised by the way that was worded. It was posted by a PhD named Melissa, and her friend seems just as weird as her because their first message said, do you have the emotional / mental capacity for me to vent about something medical / weight related for a few minutes? Like, they're both robots. They deserve each other, truly.
You know what? I mean, the way it's phrased is a little bit weird, but it would be a good practice for somebody if they do want to vent to somebody to at least be like, yo, you got a couple of minutes.
Well, that's just when you say, hey, is this a venting conversation or a solutions conversation?
That would be me. I'd be like, so do you like want an answer, or do you just want to like complain? Because that's fine too, but just let me know beforehand. Like,
I guess women are better at picking up the context clues.
You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into. Cringe or cute?
Ooh, let's start with the cringe because it's real bad.
Oh man. Okay.
I had trouble picking it today because there's so many good ones.
It's from an account that says Everlasting Confidence. And it says, women see through the alpha male persona.
You're about to watch a live golden interaction training. I can't tell you what that means, but we're about to witness what that entails.
Oh no. Okay, here we go.
Still a little part of you that wants to look tough.
Yep.
That doesn't want the fear to be seen as.
The bottle that I guess I can kind of tell from her feet that she's not like wearing high heels, but the fact that she's like, yeah, a forehead taller than him is already making this hard to like watch. Here we go.
Weak.
There's some pride there for sure.
There's some pride. Yeah. It's like, you know,
Yep.
I'm with a girl I'm attracted to. There's people around me.
Yep.
There's like a fake masculine shell that you're wearing.
100%.
I want you to take it off.
That's tough.
It's okay.
It's tough.
It gets
When
worse.
you...
And just feel the fear. Feel the fear.
Throat.
Let it do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Keep in mind the fear is there to protect you. It's there to keep you safe. It's not a bad thing. Stop swatting it away.
He didn't swat at anything.
Feel it, taste it. What are you scared of? Tell her.
I'm scared of just being perceived as weak.
There's still a
Dude, where do you find this shit?
This comes on my For You page. I don't know.
I mean, props to her for being an ice queen. She didn't make one face the whole time.
Oh,
She
I would
was-
be cracking up. I would be like, I can't do this anymore.
What the fuck? Okay.
Do you want to finish it? Or
That was
are you,
it.
Are you tapping out?
That was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it restarted.
Okay. Yeah.
So, how do you let the anger lead you to the fear? That's what I want to know.
Someone said humiliation ritual. That's literally, if anything is a humiliation ritual,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talk about those a lot on this show,
Oh my
but
gosh.
this is most definitely one of them.
Okay, well, we've got cute of the day.
We got
This is-
palate cleanser.
This is from Michael the Libertarian. And it says, Inari judging harshly, like always. It's a pretty saucy pose there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
he's cute.
That is I don't know if that's a guy or a girl cat, but if it was a girl cat, it would definitely be making that same face that woman was making in the previous video as that man shed his masculine, his faux alpha male skin.
Same expression.
Yeah. Okay.
Let the fear, feel the fear, feel it, taste it.
That's like,
Stop swatting it away.
yeah.
bro.
What did he say in Avengers Infinity War? Dread it, run from it. It arrives all the same. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Imagine if he quoted Infinity War while doing a live training. Oh man, that was bad.
That was amazing. You are correct. In the chat, Komato. Oh wait, no. Who is it that said? To be fair, she's taller than the guy too. The judge too. She is taller than the guy putting on the class. So
Pretty tall lady, yeah.
okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's get started. Let's talk about Chris Hansen.
Yes. So a new movie is coming out about Chris Hansen. Robert Pattinson is starring in it. It's coming out in September. And I have to be honest, I am incredibly excited for this. I must admit that Chris Hansen was at one time a celebrity crush of mine, so I'm biased. But it, based on the trailer, seems to be critical of Chris Hansen because of his To Catch a Predator series, which he is known for. It's been criticized for controversial ethics in his sting operations. And it appears this movie is aiming to sort of do a character study on Chris Hansen and his true motivations for hosting this show. The drama thriller sees Pattinson step into Chris Hansen's shoes during a significant chapter in the history of the show, which followed Hansen and a camera crew as they executed sting operations designed to catch child predators. The official logline reads, in 2006, To Catch a Predator host Chris Hansen sets out to make television history. The cast also features Merritt Wever, Skylar Gisondo, and Phoebe Bridgers. To Catch a Predator ran from 2004 to 2007 as a periodic special investigative report and primetime segment on Dateline NBC. The show followed undercover sting operations across the United States. In November 2006, Rockwall County Assistant District Attorney Bill Conrad killed himself as Texas police and the To Catch a Predator team entered his home with search and arrest warrants. Conrad had chatted with the show's fake child actor, but did not travel to meet up. After the controversial incident, To Catch a Predator was canceled in 2008, following an investigation by ABC's 2020 and a lawsuit filed by Conrad's sister. In its time on air, the show was massively popular, and the 2025 documentary Predators unpacked viewers' fascination with the series and Conrad's suicide. So let's take a look at the trailer. You're seeing it for the first time, right, Brett?
Correct. Oh,
All right.
of course it's an A24.
And it's an A24.
Oh, of
Yes.
course.
There's the big reveal.
All right, here we go.
Come on in.
Are you sure your parents aren't home?
I'm sure.
Big night planned.
Who are you?
Why don't you have a seat right there? I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet teens online. You see how this looks, right?
He should call his movies Oppenheimers if his last name is Oppenheim, but that's just me.
I don't really like your show, but America loves it. So I need to move you to Catch a Predator, 9 p.m. prime time.
Gonna be bigger than Lost.
My name is Dan Plum.
Do you know what you're auditioning for?
So you want to
Is that Paul Dano?
I don't think he's in the cast, no.
Okay, I don't know who that was.
play a 13-year-old?
Is there time for a rehearsal?
We're gonna shoot the rehearsal.
Come in.
They're gonna love this.
Predator has never earned the recognition it deserves. I want something that matters. No more bottom feeders. I want a whale.
Don't you ever just want to bleed them?
Maybe what I do is a little worse.
This could be our greatest segment yet.
We're going to him. We don't do that. They come to us.
I don't understand what I'm doing here. What you're doing is more than acting. You're cleansing the world of an ancient evil.
Let's catch us a predator. Who gave you permission to do this?
You have no plan.
I have to put him on television.
You're gonna be so proud of me.
I don't want to be a bad person.
Your definition of bad and my definition of bad are vastly different. What would have happened if I wasn't here?
There you have it.
Okay.
In theaters, September 25th. What are your first impressions?
I didn't take it as sympathetic to Predators. I took it as something that's doing a character study on somebody who, well, what he produced for the world obviously had fantastic results, is obviously still part of Hollywood and the news sphere, and he lived a more complicated life than simply catching predators. I didn't see anything in there that was like, you know what, maybe we got it wrong about the bad guys. But
what they are saying is maybe we got it wrong about the guy catching the bad guys. And people are understandably suspicious of the intentions behind a story like this, which is only inspired by true events. One of the quote tweets says, it kind of feels like they want the man catching PDF files to feel like a creep or villain instead of the PDF files. Another one, said, "Can't wait for the shock and discourse to drop. When people realize this movie is actually going to paint Chris Hansen as unethical by exposing the questionable things he did in order to get all of his viral clips from his series.
Okay.
Yes, he did do good work and helped law enforcement find predators, but at the end of the day, his work was exploitative and he was chasing the fame more than anything else, which was what ended up being his downfall when he mishandled the case that permanently ended the show." So I didn't know anything about this case. I read further into it. They did cancel the show due to this lawsuit from the family of the man who ended his life while the SWAT team was going into his house. But Chris Hansen did not get fired after that. He continued working for NBC until 2013 on different series. He was doing investigations on con artists, identity thieves.
He also did just traditional murders and stuff like that, and like an ID series and stuff like that.
And that was far from the end of his career. He's still been actively doing things
He's
in a similar vein ever since. Yeah, and started a YouTube channel as well. But it says NBC in 2013 decided not to renew its contract with Chris Hansen, bringing his 20-year tenure at the network to an end. Although they never gave an official reason for the decision, the show's methods had long attracted criticism over the ethics of its investigations. In 2006, during an operation in Murphy, Texas, To Catch a Predator targeted lawyer Bill Conrad. After he failed to arrive at the Sting house, law enforcement instead went to his home while the NBC cameras followed. As a SWAT team entered the property, Conrad died by suicide. His family later filed a lawsuit against NBC, which was eventually settled out of court. And I guess there's no further information available about that settlement.
Well, me and you had discussions in the past about the YouTubers and the streamers that were doing this type of content because it was done purely for shock value rather than actually getting meaningful prosecutions, which would put them in jail.
Right.
And people called into question the ethics of that. Though most, they understand that the average person is gonna be like, I do not give two shits if a pedophile gets beat up. So that nobody's shedding any tears for them, but there were people who were critical of the fact that this could be done in a way that potentially could lead to actual arrests and seeing them actually taken off the streets.
The elephant in the room being a streamer who goes by Vitaly. Yeah. I think he's the best known, freelance To Catch a Predator streamer, and he has never involved, to my knowledge, law enforcement in any of those stings. And he just lures the predator to a certain location, beats the shit out of them, and you never see or hear anything about it again.
Yeah.
So those people are, if they are serially predating on children, free to continue doing so after, they get beat up by a streamer. Yeah. But Chris Hansen, say what you will about him, at least made sure that these people got charged and detained. And oftentimes they did end up serving time for their crimes.
I did see, if I can tell correctly, I saw a wild Bokeem Woodbine in here, which I always like to see. I don't know what cop is carrying a Desert Eagle as their sidearm, but maybe.
That's crazy work. Following his departure from the series, Chris Hansen continued working in true crime television. He went on to host Killer Instinct for ID, which focused on homicide cases, in 2015. The same year, he launched Hansen vs. Predator, an independent spin-off to Catch a Predator. The project was initially intended to be crowdfunded through Kickstarter, where he hoped to raise $400,000 before the series eventually found a wider audience. He also became a host on Crime Watch Daily, where Hansen vs. Predator later returned as a revival of his original series, and that show concluded in June 2018. In October 2019, the host launched his YouTube channel, Have a Seat with Chris Hansen, featuring weekly podcasts covering a range of crime-related topics and interviews with special guests. And this brings us to 2020, when he initiated a long-running investigation into a YouTuber called Onision. And if you've never heard of this person, you should probably keep it that way, because he's just a specter in YouTube history. But it turned out that investigation by Chris Hansen was widely regarded as a failure, a disappointment, because he continually claimed that police were investigating Onision and that we were so close to justice, and that never came to pass. It went so far as Chris Hansen going to Onision's house the way that he did in that debacle in 2006. He went up to Onision's front door and was knocking on the door with a camera crew behind him. And the phone call that Onision made to the police was then released after the fact. And he says, like, a YouTube stalker is at my door, knocking on my door, you know, send people out to help me. And they say, do you know who this guy is? And he says, it's Chris Hansen. And that like went down as internet history that day. But still, people feel like Chris Hansen got lost in the sauce and sort of, you know, he was after clout and fame, maybe more so than actually getting a result. So people then sort of they lost some respect for Chris Hansen through that whole thing. I don't think that's going to be at all portrayed in the movie, though. They're focusing mainly on the 2000s. And, you know, I guess his biggest mistake is that he didn't quit while he was ahead, and you didn't really have an option to do that in 2006 because YouTube hadn't taken off yet, and you didn't have the option back then to just take your operation and go independent the way that you do now. I mean, if it happened 10 years ago instead of 20 years ago, he probably would have been independent through the whole thing, but he was under a network, and the network has to face liabilities.
Oh, I know. I'm saying
for your missteps if you make any.
So what he does is actually seems like it would be very, very difficult to do independent because of the insurance liability and the possibility of getting sued. Like, he has to do it. It's almost safer for him to do it through a network because somebody could get very litigious very fast as a way of trying to offset him, you know, catching them doing creepy shit.
I mean, I still stan Chris Hansen. I don't even care. And like, you're always gonna get a side eye from me if you're mainly critical of the guy trying to catch the bad guys instead of the bad guys.
I feel like this trailer is like what people wanted from this movie is which would never be made by A24. What they want is the Michael version of this, which is the first movie that doesn't get into all of the stuff that makes them controversial and instead focuses on elevating the reasons people love them.
Right. I think that is what people were expecting at first, but when the trailer came out, it seemed like, oh, there's a different angle to this.
Yeah, Ari Aster is one of the producers.
Really? I didn't see him listed as one of the
it says
producers
production.
when I read about it.
It says in October of 2024, it was announced that Lance Oppenheim would make his feature film debut with A24 financing and distributing. Robert Pattinson on board as only a producer at that time. Ari Aster was also reported to be among the film's producers. So maybe he backed out after the fact, but he's still listed here in the producers.
I must say, I am seated for this.
So it's based on a book.
Really?
Based
Is
on
it a
Tonight
fictionalized account, or
it says based on Tonight on Dateline, This Man Will Die by Luke Dietrich.
Never heard of it.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you gonna see this?
I'm gonna see I Played Rocky. I have no interest in seeing this. Okay, so I will make an argument to on why I would imagine people take the position they have, and I think that it's fair, which is that one thing that's been a hallmark of Hollywood cinema in especially the last 10 years is to take everything that people felt made America great in past decades and hyper analyze it and break it down to destroy the ambiance and the gravitas that America used to have and the things that made America feel like it was part of their cultural identity. This was a huge part of American culture, and it's hard for any rational person to argue with the idea of like, one of the things that makes America great is that our extremely exploitative television system somehow also managed to make stuff that brought down child abusers, which is a great thing. And they're trying to take those things that make America what it is and shine a light on it that makes you think less of the country.
Yeah, it's kind of bursting our bubble.
Yeah,
when you wanted to like remember that show fondly, they're showing you a reason why it was all a ruse from the start.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still going to enjoy all of the clips from the show back in the day. I'm not going to let the movie ruin it for me.
Robert Pattinson was definitely swinging for the fences on that too. Well, you see how this looks.
Yeah, I liked his voice that he put on for the role. I thought that was really well done because he doesn't actually look that much like
No, he doesn't
Chris Hansen.
really at all.
But he sold it.
All right, let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into. Method acting. It's apparently the product of mediocre men.
There's been a major crack up over method acting on the timeline lately, mainly because Anya Taylor-Joy addressed why is it that there are no female method actors? And this is basically true. You don't really hear about actresses going method. You mainly hear about male actors, and there are many examples of it. Most notoriously, Jared Leto, and also Daniel Day-Lewis, Christian Bale. I think John Bernthal was in the mix, Dustin Hoffman as well. And then after a movie comes out, you hear all of the sordid details of how they dedicated themselves to the character, and they just embodied it 24/7 to the point where they made everyone around them and everyone working on the project uncomfortable. Jared Leto, for instance, I think this is all confirmed by what other cast members said. When he was playing Joker, he did, in fact, mail Margot Robbie a live rat. He also had henchmen follow him around on set. And at one point, he instructed a henchman to just plop a giant pig carcass on the table in front of people working on the movie. And that's a lot of work for getting, 10, 15 minutes of screen time in Suicide Squad. But that is the most notorious example of taking method acting too far, probably as a way to mask your own shitty behavior. But here is Anya Taylor-Joy's take. She thinks that women can't method act because the people around them will never tolerate their antics if they did.
Okay, here, let's listen to this clip. Let's go. Here we go.
Oh,
the way
that have a visceral feeling from it.
The way that I describe it, so like, if you'll notice, women don't method act because we have things to take care of.
Hello?
So we can't completely lose our minds. I see acting as kind of like a controlled psychosis in a way.
Huh.
You are pretending to be somebody else and having their thoughts 16 hours a day and moving like them and in their house, in their clothes. So there is an element of like having a sister or a roommate check in here for a little bit. And I'm just very grateful that the people in my life understand that and know that. Sometimes if it gets a little bit out of hand, they'll call me by the character name and they'll be like, yo, this needs
to her to go.
We need to like check in again. But yeah, I can't imagine keeping it up all the time because again, you're going to work with hundreds of people and it is your responsibility to be good to them and to help them do their best job. If you're too invested in being an asshole, then that's not going to be very fun.
But what if the person you're method acting as is like really fun?
What if they're actually a really pleasant person?
I did find an example of 7 people that they consider to be method actors that are women. Michelle Williams, Natalie Portman, Hilary Swank. Those are the women in the list.
Well, the thing about Natalie Portman is I beg to differ, since she has said the opposite. She said method acting is a luxury that women can't afford. She went further to say, I don't think that children or partners would be very understanding of me making everyone call me Jackie Kennedy all the time.
Yeah, this feels like it's more... Okay, so this is what it lists for Natalie Portman. It says, Natalie Portman didn't intend to go method in Black Swan. However, that is what she ended up doing. To prepare for the role, she trained for 5 hours a day for 6 months prior to filming, doing ballet, cross-training, and swimming, just like her character in the film. She barely ate and lost 20 pounds as a result. I was barely eating. I was working 16 hours a day. I was almost method acting without intending to. I do wonder now how people can do this kind of role when they have a family. What about the person you're actually portraying? Like, what about the real person who does that when they have a family?
Well, that sounds more like intense preparation, not method acting. I think part of method acting is that you actually have to consciously choose it. That sounds more like what I read about John Bernthal preparing for The Punisher. Like, he was training very intensely as well, had a very strict diet. He was also entering into this mindset for the role, and he felt like he needed to create some sort of emotional and physical distance from his children during that time because he didn't want to like impose this dark energy onto them.
Too, because last night, literally, we were first of all, it's funny because his version of the Punisher is actually kind of giving crap sometimes for having a very normal physique and not being superhero jacked. But also, me and Tim were talking last night on IRL about how one of the things that people perceive as a plot hole in Spider-Man Brand New Day is that Jean Grey should not have been able to jump into Punisher's mind. As per the comics, he's literally so broken that his brain is like uninhabitable.
Interesting.
So, you know, going into that mental state for the Punisher actually does make sense, but the physique definitely doesn't feel like it went there, but that's not his fault.
But again, that's not method acting. I do think you have to consciously choose to method act, to go method in order for it to meet the criteria. Mm-hmm. One of the stories I came across when looking into this was about Dustin Hoffman. Apparently, he slapped Meryl Streep in the face, unscripted, while method. And I guess that, you know, gives you some kind of alibi. I don't think it should. And she did actually say that she had to confront him about it and say, you overstepped. That's not okay. I don't think that going method should just excuse all of your actions. And there is, you know, you are still inside your own mind. You still have agency. Daniel Day-Lewis was mentioned here for method acting in My Left Foot. He's playing a character with cerebral palsy and reportedly had crew members move him around and spoon feed him so that he wouldn't break character. And he also reportedly did method acting for Lincoln, maintaining the president's voice and persona both during filming and outside of filming, including sending text messages to his co-star Sally Field in character.
Did he suspend habeas corpus on set and act as a tyrant to everybody? Does it bring up Jim Carrey?
Yes.
As Andy
in
Kaufman?
Man on the Moon, he stayed in character as both Andy Kaufman and his alter ego, Tony Clifton. And they also mentioned Adrian Brody in The Pianist, who got rid of his car and his phone and isolated himself. Again, that sounds a little bit more like intense preparation rather than method. But Daniel Day-Lewis spoke about method acting. He defended it at the London Film Festival in 2025, saying all of the recent commentary about method acting is invariably from people who have little or no understanding of what it actually involves. It's almost as if it's some specious science that we are involved in, or a cult. But it's just a way of freeing yourself so that the spontaneity, I cannot help but internally roll my eyes right now. the spontaneity when you are working with your colleagues in front of the camera, that you are free to respond in any way that you'll move to in that moment.
I mean, look, I can actually, like, I actually think about it pretty regularly as somebody who, like, first of all, doesn't like reading and stuff. Like, I imagine that embodying tone and kind of separating yourself and the general feeling of, like, this feels stupid when you're getting into character. Remember, you're not on an empty soundstage, just you and one other person. You've got 100 people behind you. You've got people holding light bounces. You've got a boom mic operator up here who's probably like coughing lightly in between takes and stuff like that. It's a very, very self-conscious environment that it puts you in to do that. And that's on top of, like, and that's just two people standing around. Now imagine having to do all of this while you're walking. Well, there's like marks on the ground that tell you where you need to end up and at what point in your diatribe you need to be when you hit that point. There is an idea that your brain has to sort of disengage, and it all needs to suddenly feel very natural. It's also very hard for people to argue with Daniel Day-Lewis because he's widely renowned as one of the best of one of the greats. So for that reason, but at the same time, for the average person, I also think that it's funny because the average person discounts what they do anyways. The average person doesn't actually think that there's any talent in acting.
Right, and they're saying things like it's the same thing as lying, or they're basically prostitutes.
They're just pretending. It's like, yes, and it just asks somebody like, go find your favorite line in a movie. Now go and try and deliver that dialogue in a way unique to you that doesn't feel stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely harder than it looks, harder than it seems. He did make the stipulation, though, that going method shouldn't mean inflicting your character on people in your real life or the people in the crew working on a production. He says it's a self-contained experience, at least for him, but it doesn't sound like most of these other examples follow that rule. They do inflict the character on their friends, the crew, their loved ones. They also mention possibly that Lady Gaga did method acting for her role in House of Gucci. She said that she lived as Patricia Reggiani for 18 months and stuck with the Italian accent of her character for 9 months, saying she never broke character for over a year. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's true,
I don't
but
know if I believe that.
That was what she said.
She's got obligation. She's got shit she has to do in her life.
It's probably because she thinks it sounds more impressive that way, right?
I don't though. I actually think it seems more impressive to be able to turn it on and off. Yeah. And like as soon as you're done with the take, like that's. Have you ever seen that clip? Everybody's seen this clip of like, it's Leonardo DiCaprio from Wolf of Wall Street, where he's literally waiting in pose. Where he's about to shake someone's hand, and he's waiting in pose, and the director says background, and then all the background actors start making noise, action, and then he just like springs to life. Right.
He moves like an animatronic.
Yeah.
And that is more impressive than, being your character for 18 months. I agree with you on that. And Kristen Stewart, of all people, made a really good point about this. We did discuss it. I can't remember how long ago this was. She did an interview with the New York Times where she said there is a reason why men specifically gravitate towards method acting, and because they sense there is something embarrassing and perhaps unmasculine about acting by its very nature, and going method is a sort of defense mechanism for your own ego, to temper the vulnerable side of being a performer that comes more naturally to women who are they are already more emotionally fluid than men. And Anya Taylor-Joy's first sentence in that clip was, "Women don't method act because we have things to take care of." That might be interpreted in a lot of different ways. I think she's probably referring to women having menstrual cycles. You can only disconnect so much from your own reality when your hormones are shifting throughout the month, and you're reminded of your own physicality that way.
Yeah.
That's the point I think she was trying to make.
Here's that clip if anybody's wondering. I just pulled it up here.
Spade.
7 the apple, take 3. Park.
Set.
Set and background and action.
Hey, we'll talk in a minute. Thanks for coming by, huh?
And that's for like the most basic of scenes. I still think the thing that people take for granted, you know what the hardest thing would be? Like belly laughing at something you don't think is funny.
Yeah.
Like I notice a lot when I watch, like it used to happen when there would be episodes of shows like Blue Bloods where everybody around the dinner table would laugh, and I'm like, that has to be miserable to like pretend to laugh on like the 53rd take.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not funny. And you have to.
And it's difficult,
yeah,
undeniably. What we just saw, though, that is way more impressive than like what Jared Leto did.
Yeah.
What Jared Leto did, I think he is probably the example of the worst stereotype about method acting, which is that you're just an asshole and you used your character as an excuse to be a pervert and be a jerk to everyone around you, to like impose your ego on everyone. There's also like a theory going on right now that Margaret Qualley is method acting for the Possession remake, and in doing so ended up divorcing her real life husband. I don't think that's true, but maybe she'll channel some of her complicated feelings about the divorce into the movie.
All right. All right, let's move on. It's a war, guys, and it has to do with trinkets.
Yes, grown adult women are fighting each other over toys, or rather trinkets. The definition is up for heated debate right now, as trinket trading has become a huge phenomenon all across the country. People are installing trinket trading boxes in their local communities, and what has ensued is a civil war over what qualifies as a trinket, and it also lays bare our fraying social fabric, the erosion of social trust. There are trinket burglars, people are installing cameras. It's becoming a mini police state surrounding every trinket box that has been installed so far.
Wait, is this one of those things that they're saying immigration is going to solve? Is this what all the deportations is for? Or is this just, is this purely like a white Western woman issue where they're stealing from each other?
I must say, everyone that I have seen participating in trinket trading is a white woman, more likely than not an overweight white woman.
How is it that we can have an affordability crisis and the trinket wars at the same time?
Well, because the trinkets are free, but they come at the cost of your dignity.
Yeah.
So this piece investigates the entire debacle. Who among us has not attempted to start a whimsical community-oriented project only for it to devolve into a site of small-scale authoritarianism? I have not done that. I can say gladly that I was unaware of this phenomenon. For a couple of months earlier this year, there was a white box screwed into the outdoor wall of a restaurant on my street. Every time I passed it, people were crowded around it, picking out little toys, stickers, and knickknacks that were stashed inside. One time, I stopped by and traded a sticker for a clear Mancala marble that I now keep in my jewelry dish. A lovely trinket trade. But after about 2 months, the box disappeared, leaving only 4 holes screwed into the wall where it had been installed.
Okay.
A visit...
Is the idea here, you have to fill me in, I'm sorry. So the idea here is that you don't just take a trinket.
No,
give
you
a
must
trinket.
leave one.
It's give a trinket,
Yes.
take a trinket. Okay.
It's like one
continue.
of those libraries. You have to leave a trinket in order to take one.
Okay.
Big stipulation there. A visit to my city's subreddit revealed that because the citizens of this city were taking more than they were leaving, and also leaving the box's door unlatched, the box's creator had decided to move it from the street to inside a nearby cafe to, quote, protect the space and spirit of the project. The trinket box in my city is one of many that have popped up around the country. It's an idea growing in popularity on social media, a twist on the already ubiquitous little free libraries that dot the kinds of neighborhoods where people put coexist stickers on their cars and pay for annual Ring subscriptions. Instead of books, these boxes are for trinkets, little toys, stuffed animals, or blind box spoils. It's a cute idea, a way to spread delight around your neighborhood. But it turns out the idea is not so simple here or anywhere. One of the problems that has emerged among trinket traders is an inconsistent definition of what a trinket is.
It is true. I'm going to say right now. So Olivia sells blind boxes on her Etsy, and they sell very well when she does the events.
Has she gotten complaints about the loot?
No.
Okay,
she has like an example box that you can see, which shows you an idea of what type of trinkets would end up in the blind box.
Right, to maintain some air of mystery.
Yes,
still.
so it's not the same things in each one, but it's an idea of like, here's some trinkets of this size, and this size. And every time I see that, I'm like, guys don't buy stuff like this. They do not buy blind boxes.
No, yeah, women are like crows. Like,
they also
like
do this.
Shiny
They
little
do
things,
this.
baubles.
They do the boxes that you can buy at Michael's that are like clearance items, and they're like, you get all the whatever's in this box for $5.
Okay, to be fair, women love trinkets, but men love loot boxes.
That is true.
So I want to show, first off, this video from a trinket trade box owner in Indiana. She posted this as a PSA about the types of trinkets that are allowed and what is banned from her trinket box. So here's her little PSA.
I just wanted to make a quick video. Please, when you come to visit the box and you're doing your trading, please do not leave broken items, rocks, or whatever this is. I try to ensure that there are always good items in the box. I just wanted to make a quick video.
Yeah.
Please, when you come...
So the passive aggression was palpable. Commenters criticized her video, pointing out that the rock she was holding was actually a hagstone, a rock with a naturally occurring hole in it. That makes it a trinket, apparently. Maybe some people would have thought it was cool to have that rock, but it was a rock, said the box owner. Like, I could have picked that out of the grass and put it in here. Sometimes trash is also a trinket, said one responder, because what is a trinket if not a delightful piece of junk? This is mind-boggling. Okay, I have to try to cobble together some definition of a trinket because everyone thinks they know the definition. Here's what the dictionary says. It's a thing of little value, a trifle, a toy. I think a trinket has to be small in size, meaning you can fit it in your pocket or in the palm of your hand. That's one quality I think it must have. I think it shouldn't be new. I think it should have belonged to someone else at some point. I don't think it should come from a store. Like, it shouldn't be a pristine piece of merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it should either have zero utilitarian purpose or have lost its utilitarian purpose over time.
This is the tchotchke section of the thrift store.
The tchotchke, though, I would say a tchotchke doesn't have the size stipulation. I think a tchotchke can be like a cookie jar or something, but that's too big to be a trinket. You know what I mean? Like, am I making any sense now?
Yeah.
So those are my ideas of what qualify as a trinket. But people on Trinket Box TikTok are saying you can only qualify as a trinket if it is branded consumer products, basically brand new toys, keychains, Funko Pops, Labubu's, whatever. So in another video from a blind box store called Pick a Party, they clarify what they say counts as a trinket. Let's show this obnoxious PSA.
Okay, here we go.
All the Sunny Angels without leaving anything. Don't worry, it's all refreshed now. I'll show you guys. I added a few new Sunnies and then some people came in and traded some away. So this is what it's looking like. Still super cute. We have a Labubu. We added more blind boxes in there for you guys.
Okay, I have a question. I'm sorry. Do you think this woman has debt?
Yes.
Okay.
based on her nails alone.
Yes. To make sure that you guys have really good trades, because we want this to all be fair. And then I upgraded the little section, you guys. Still a bunch of
about community building and fairness. This is the most female thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
trinkets. I just want to give you guys a reminder what a trinket is. So trinkets are going to be any toys. I'll give you guys examples of things that I pulled out of the box that are not trinket. We love that you guys are getting creative, but we're just going to say no arts and crafts, you guys. So this is not a trinket. In our opinion, this guy is just like a little arts and crafts. We're going to say we're not going to put these in the trinket box because I don't think it would be fair to do like a little clothes.
That is the idea here. Is she just snobby and because it's homemade, it's not a trinket?
Yeah, she's saying it has to be some kind of mass-produced consumer product.
My gosh, this is authoritarian nonsense.
Pen for like a toy. So these guys are not trinkets. We're also going to say things like this that is like a bottle, like a thing for a straw. That's not a trinket. What? Also croc charms, you guys. These are not considered trinkets. Unfortunately, they are very cute, but they are not trinkets. So things like this that it looks like a little pendant for your necklace, but it has no keychain. That's not considered a trinket. So
this lady is on a power trip.
I
know. Pull these out of the box just to keep it nice and tidy and beautiful. And this is really what a trinket is. Little toys. This is the little kids section or like the smaller trinket section. You guys bring little trinkets.
Well, if you identify as a trinket, I think you're just a trinket. Frankly,
yeah, who are you to
when
tell
did
them
we
that
get not to make the boomer joke here, but when did we get so rigid with our labels?
Right.
Be able to trade for any of these. There's a few more in that little box. Stickers, Pokemon. Remember, those are not trinkets, but we still have them there for you guys in case you guys want to bring some stickers to trade. I'm just going to show you an updated rule. We're going to close the box. And now there's going to be this little sign right there that says, please ask for assistance. You guys can just ask us. We're normally just inside the store. If the trinket trade box is outside and the sign is up, just ask for assistance and just be very patient with us, you guys. We're all kind of learning here. We're not upset at people that came in and took items out of this box without leaving trades. I think we're all just kind of learning together as we go. I can understand when people get excited and they see stuff. Maybe they don't have trades and they panic and they just take. We hope that you guys don't do that again, please. We really want to make it fair for everybody. So
what we need to like find a way to in an authoritarian manner create the exact US government and laws that we want and then put nothing but women in government because nothing will get done. They'll just sit there and argue and literally nothing will change because they will never be able to come to any type of consensus. And
because we have to make sure it's fair for everybody.
If we're not gonna, if they're not gonna repeal the 19th, then we need to overhaul and put nothing but women in charge of both parties, so that they just constantly have to hash it out together while nothing changes.
So she is telling traders they're only allowed to trade trinkets of equal value.
What does that even mean?
An authentic Sunny Angel for an authentic Sunny Angel. Don't come in here with any counterfeit Sunny Angels or counterfeit Labubus, which are called Lafufus.
I feel so bad. For some reason, we have like over 1,000 people watching on Rumble right now, and they're just like, what the fuck?
Hi, Rumble.
Hi, Rumble. They're like, what are you guys talking about? What is this shit?
I love the part when they say you have to be watched with a store employee breathing down your neck the entire time.
And you're like,
I need to see the authentication card on that Sunny Angel before you leave it there.
Let me check my list here. Actually, that qualifies as arts and crafts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna have to turn
back.
you away.
You're gonna have to come back. I'm sorry.
At this point, the Trinket Trade Box is less a communitarian project and pooled resources of whimsy, and more like an arbitrage crossroads, which could be fine on its own, but it's not the thing they're advertising. And the creeping capitalist tyranny makes the whole endeavor feel like the most selfish person you know justifying their actions with therapy speak. Trinket box purveyors have gone so far as to post lists of rules for their boxes, lock their boxes, and even set up security cameras so members of their community can have a little police state with their treats.
Okay, there's I don't see anything wrong with the security camera. I don't. Okay. So
I mean, these days, sadly, because people will steal shit, you kind of need that.
So one thing that's very popular out here in West Virginia and in Maryland are little bakeries and little farm stands, which are basically on the honor system. Where like they give you a Venmo link and you can pay and take the goods. And there's no one should have any doubt in their mind like why they would have a security camera there. Makes perfect sense.
For sure. And that's someone's business. But I think what freaks people out about the security cameras on a trading box is that it's not a business. It's not for money.
That's
You know,
what I'm
they're
saying.
not, they didn't put it there to make money off of it. They put it there to, you know, offer something nice to the people that live in their area.
The funnier version of this is like do it as like a weird social experiment to see if anybody actually trades of equal or less or greater value, and watch as you get nothing but substandard trinkets traded to you with every new round.
But that goes against the entire concept of a trinket. It has no value other than whatever value you assign to it.
Put nothing but
sparks joy.
pristine new trinkets in there and watch you get nothing but chipped and damaged trinkets in return. And really the sad part is it seems like this is just supposed to be something that brings beauty to your neighborhood and some whimsy and joy, and they can't do whimsy and joy without some authoritarian rule. This lady, especially in this video,
she would throw you in a gulag.
She would be a fantastic. You know what? She's failing here, but put this lady in charge of your HOA, and your neighborhood will be pristine.
Yeah, she just needs to be put in the proper environment to make use of her skills.
Exactly.
Not a trading box. But they say gone is the presumption of good faith, as well as the abiding understanding that even if any particular trade isn't perfectly balanced, things will level out over time. It's the difference between lending your neighbor a cup of flour and charging them the value of flour before handing it over. The former is a community. The latter is a grocery store. When you've locked up your whimsy like shampoo at CVS, that might be a sign to take a deep breath and reconsider. When you're policing your trinket box like an HOA policing the size of people's garage door windows, you've lost the plot. In the short term, bringing a community together is harder than portraying yourself as a person who cares about bringing community together. But the image can't last if that's all it is.
I think that's
well
it.
said.
Well said. All right. Now that we have done Trinket Gate, let's move on. We've got
Amazing.
super chats to get into.
All right. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Friday, Brett and Mary. Mary, I talked to Chris Crash and he DM'd you Wednesday evening about going on Crash Canon for a pop culture Catholic episode. I cannot make any guarantees to you, Shane, just because I'm busy, but I do have
you get two
podcast appearance. What?
You get 2 jobs.
Well, that too. I think I have a podcast appearance coming up, by the way, which you'll know about in due time. Brian Bledsoe said, I think we have the next challenge for episode 1200. 20 crisis parties and both of you sing Teenage Dirtbag a cappella. Record it and it replaces the People's Joker.
I would rather cut out my vocal cords.
Would we be like harmonizing? Is that the goal? I'm not really good at that.
I hate that song so much. I hate that.
But for 20 crisis parties, I mean,
no,
there's no price to put on that. You're not going to do it.
There is no price to do that.
Damn.
I'm not doing
All right. Corey Anderson said, I second what Brian said. Brett, if you had cancer, you'd tell us, right?
I would. No, probably
what
not.
What a bizarre question.
Yeah.
Why? What is going on? Are people diagnosing you with something now?
No, I probably wouldn't. But like at the same time, I just had a physical done. I literally just went for a physical. My first time going to like a general practitioner that wasn't like an ER visit in like over probably 12 or 15 years, and I am in good health. I had blood tests done. I had a bunch of stuff done just to make sure that I was healthy because it's been so long since I'd been to the doctor. I'm in very good health.
So the answer is, if you don't have cancer, then you would tell us, which you just did.
Exactly.
Great. I'm happy with that. Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, I was listening to the Bellied Up podcast today starring comedian Charlie Burans. He referred to Diet Coke as fridge cigarettes. Yeah, I don't remember who came up with that, but I've been seeing that like meme for a long time now. I don't understand the appeal of Diet Coke though. It's disgusting to me.
So that's the thing. I'm like, I'm too weary of like even like 0 calorie, because 0 calorie soda is disgusting, and so is diet soda. I don't care what anybody says. And outside of every once in a blue moon, like if a new flavor of soda comes out, I'll be willing to try. But other than that, like, I don't like dabble in like the sugar-free, because all that is just a bunch of erythritol anyways. Like, it's just as unhealthy for you, just in a different way.
I wouldn't say just as unhealthy.
I have, however, been drinking a couple of the 0 calorie like flavored waters, like the sparkling waters recently. The good ones, not the disgusting Spindrifts that we have here.
Some of the Spindrifts are really bad. And it took me a while to realize it, because I was like, no, this is so good. I was like psyoping myself into enjoying it. The grapefruit one is the grossest one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just like plain sparkling water, just carbonated water.
Me too. Yeah. I've never been a soda person. Like, I've always found it gross.
Yeah.
And that goes for most flavored sparkling water. Like, I just want plain.
The like for me, it was like I was a very big soda person, but as soon as I quit soda a couple years ago, I just started eating candy. It's like literally just sugar addiction, and then eventually cut the candy out. And
but you can replace it with fruit.
Yes, I should do that, but I don't eat healthy enough.
It's nature's candy.
They said my cholesterol was like a tiny bit high, like not very, but like a tiny bit high. But like I definitely don't eat healthy enough, and I should snack a little bit before bed more these days. But now, if I snack too much, I feel gross afterwards.
I don't really do snack.
Like before bed. Like if I snack before bed, I feel gross.
I don't do snacks like period. Like if I'm eating, I'm having a whole meal.
So we have these. I don't think you were here when Tim started getting these like ridiculously good like huge Rice Krispies that are like there's all chocolate.
That sounds amazing.
All chocolate Rice Krispies with fudge in the middle, caramel and cream in the middle. There's ones with
that sounds diabolical.
With Lucky Charms on top. And that's what I snack on at night. It's so
How
good.
does Tim stay so trim? It can't just be skating.
It's well, he does the same thing I do, which is like unfortunately, I just accept that I now live in a world that at the age of 40, I can't eat this whole thing in one sitting.
It's that
I have
like
to eat it in 2 or 3 sittings.
Are the Pop-Tarts still around?
They're gone.
Okay,
they expired.
finally.
There was only a couple left, but they expired.
Pop-Tarts don't expire.
I know, right?
Come on. That's fake. They have enough preservatives in them. Pop Culture Junkie, I think that was a 20 we read earlier. Shane H. Wilder said, okay, if you want the ultimate donut, have a Berliner. I don't know if that's
I don't know what that means.
I'm supposed to say it. Or as they were originally known, a Gefühlt Krafen. I, again, don't know if I butchered that. They are German jelly donuts on crack. That sounds like the kind of jelly donut that I was hoping for in my mind.
Yeah. I want the carbs.
Yeah.
Like now, like so I started having like my snack at night would be these Old El Paso fajita flavored ramen noodles, and then literally instead of using a spoon, just use like tortilla chips. And I get done and I'm like, I wish I could eat this every day all the time, but
do you ever
it's just like endless sodium.
Do you eat dry ramen?
No, I have done that as an experiment. It's not good.
It's fine.
It's not.
It's inoffensive. Pop Culture Junkie said they are acquiescing to their mediocrity. Brett, I'm stealing that. It's a perfect description of the status all of the various Disney studios.
Yeah.
You put it well.
Yesh in the chat says diet root beer slaps. I saw today, and I follow the Ghost Instagram account, the Ghost Energy Drink, and apparently they have like an A&W root beer flavor that they were counting down the days to. I am looking for that. Personally, Barks is the superior root beer, if you ask me. So I'm going to go and try and find that. Also, I do want most of these energy drink companies to just make non-caffeine versions that I can just drink.
You should start making reviews of all of the Christian energy drinks.
That would be good. I also I found out that The 3D energy drinks that I get from the dollar store apparently it's like Christian Guzman. I guess he's some weightlifter, like he's some bodybuilder or something like that. I just learned that the other day. I was like, oh, that explains why Sam Sulek has his own energy drink. If you don't know who Sam Sulek is, he's this like 21-year-old who's on enough gear. He's like literally on gear to his eyeballs.
Wait, is he the one who started out really young?
Yes.
And he didn't even go through puberty. He just went straight to 45.
Something like that, yeah. Like he's.
I think I've seen him before. It's scary.
Yeah, he's gonna die very young. If I have to imagine, but
that's horrifying.
But yeah, so he has his energy drink, and those are all the. That is the other thing. Like you can get like energy drinks are the safer bet these days because they're all zero. All the good ones are zero sugar. Zero like. I
mean, they taste.
And they come with like 10. No, they don't. The 10-calorie ones taste good.
The taurine is just nauseating. I can't. Frank F. said, let's make a PCC drinking game. My first suggestions are anytime Brett mentions David Zaslav or compares something to wrestling. I mean this with love. Brett's hair has been great lately. Ideas.
I don't feel
I'm gonna try to do the compliment sandwich there.
I don't feel like I actually compare stuff to wrestling all that often.
Or mention David Zaslav. But wait, if we're doing a PCC drinking game, then what was my thing?
Yeah.
What do I say? Am I just unpredictable? I don't know.
Oh, by the way, guys, you should go find the video I watched. It's like a 4-hour video about the history of every Mountain Dew flavor ever made. And then the 2-hour video of every Monster flavor ever made, which goes through like the creation and process and label and packaging and stuff that was only released in certain regions and stuff like that.
Did they get exposed for being satanic?
No. The video didn't get into their satanic origins.
Well, they didn't do their research, apparently. Robert Delara said, forget the celebrity therapist. That's all for show. Ariana Grande needs to find someone, whoever that may be, who truly has her best interest. Maybe easier said than done, but that should happen. You know what she should do? She should hire me.
There you go.
I can fix her.
You can do it. We got some Rumble rants here. A couple from Broody Gambit says, guys buy blind boxes. They're just usually Magic the Gathering cards or D&D miniatures. At Gen Con last weekend, a blind box of miniature board games sold out pretty quickly. Okay, maybe it's fair to point out that I just don't have any hobbies like that would lend myself to doing that. I know that there's like, you know, a lot of these like what is it, like the t-shirt companies have like deals where like if you sign up for like a subscription of their stuff, you get like a blind box every month of merchandise.
I want to know what I'm buying. I would not buy
Same
a
here.
mystery anything.
Broody Gambit also says, in my church youth group, we would play a trade-up game, start with a penny, and make trades to see what the best thing you could finish with. I heard one time someone came back with a beater car.
That's pretty cool.
And our sergeant says, a study just came out saying that 0-calorie artificial sweeteners cause mental decline at a rate of up to 62% faster than normal.
La 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 la.
That's like the aspartame and the erythritol.
I'm not hearing it. What about sucralose? Is that an artificial sweetener? Whatever. I don't care.
Broody Gambit also adds, I make my own root beer at home, and it is delicious. Pair it with my homemade ice cream for a killer root beer float.
Does it have anything to do with roots? Like actual roots? Shane H. Wilder said, sewer slide is not a human right. It's a selfish act that hurts everyone around you. We don't give up around here. Diamonds are not made without pressure. Couldn't agree more, but unfortunately, that does not seem to be the mainstream take. Junie said Ariana Grande's mother let her and her brother play with animal organs and draw on the walls with blood. Look it up. What the fuck? How have I never heard that before? I don't even know what to look up with that. Animal organs, Ariana Grande?
Feels
Blood?
like it's like trying to trick you into some type of like search that's going to get you put on a list.
No. It says... What the fuck? Ariana Grande's childhood involved macabre decorations orchestrated by her mother, Joan, who would purchase animal organs such as hearts and lungs from butchers and leave them in dishes. She encouraged Ariana and her siblings to paint blood on the walls of their home, particularly around Halloween, as part of an eccentric, goth-inspired upbringing that embraced a fascination with the macabre. I do not know what to make of that. I will have to read further.
Where
because
was
that
Mr. Grande during all of this?
Okay, this is actually real. This is real.
Oh, sarsaparilla root, I think, is where, like,
wow,
root beer.
Oh, okay.
Sassafras root.
Robert Delera said, "You don't have to go scorched earth, just nicely convey the reasons why you don't think you're compatible with the person, but there is also that fatal attraction scenario that you have to think about." But like, why list the reasons? What does it matter?
Yeah.
Why do you need to know? Politely or not, it doesn't matter. The person's not interested. That's the only relevant information that they need to convey. Unless there's something like so fixable, right? Like, you don't brush your teeth. I don't know, like, that's valid. But if it's just like, I don't think you're funny, like, what are you gonna do about that? That's not
You're not going to change your sense of humor.
constructive. Yeah, if there's constructive criticism, I suppose.
It's also extremely centered, like it's extremely narrow focus. So just because your sense of humor doesn't work with her doesn't mean, like, that doesn't benefit you to hear, because changing it doesn't necessarily mean that the next person won't like the sense of humor you have now.
Right. So it doesn't matter why that particular person isn't attracted. Corey Anderson said Robert Pattinson is a pretty good actor.
Yes,
I would agree.
I agree.
I wonder if he's going to be able to draw much of an audience to this, although I'm sure it didn't cost that much to make.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said the stupid DA dropped the charges against 23 suspects in the Collin County, Texas case because they thought Hansen was paying the city of Murphy?
I don't even know what
Sounds
that
like you know way
means.
more about this than I do. Oh, did we miss this 20 from Well Spoken Token?
Oh, maybe.
Apologies if we did. Personally, I'd prefer it if the girl rips my heart out of my chest and shoots straight. Sadly, it typically makes me like the girl even more because I see she is such a good communicator. The truth hurts, but I appreciate honesty.
I don't think that most people... I think that there's actually a large contingent of people that would say that that's what they want without realizing that that's exactly what they don't want.
I think that sounds more like a fetish, honestly. We have another 20 that we also missed from Weird Traveler. I apologize again. A pop culture podcast as background noise? You see how this looks, right?
That was good.
What is Brett's favorite loot box and Mary's favorite trinket?
I don't buy loot boxes. Do you have a favorite trinket?
Yeah, let me think on that. I like keychains. I have a lot of doodads on my keychain, my lanyard. Does that count?
I don't buy a lot of like that type of stuff. I don't buy tchotchkes.
I'm just looking around right now, looking for a trinket in my house.
My dad had so many tchotchkes around the house. Like I always made the joke that our living room looked like a small town thrift store.
I will say tchotchkes are more likely to be haunted than trinkets.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it just makes sense. Shane H. Wilder said, so it's a lending library for people to to read. It looks like an excuse to clean out your junk drawer. I mean, that's what it's for, right? Like, it is junk. It's what it is it's endearing junk. It's lovable junk.
I have a couple of like literal boxes with small trinkets and things in there, but they're things of sentimental value. They're things
And that's
that
different.
it's not just stuff that I have to have. It's stuff that matters to me.
Rama Lama Ding Dong said, "Don't push your Labubus on me, pal." Yeah, Labubus are not trinkets. That is a consumer, like mass-produced product, and it has no inherent charm.
Mhm.
Weary Traveler said, "Fridge cigarettes as I'm sitting here drinking a Diet Coke with a 9 milligram Nick pouch in." 9 milligrams is crazy, but that is, I guess, a fridge cigarette. Shane H. Wilder said, "No worries. I just told Chris I would relay the message so you knew to look for it." Thank you. Pop Culture Junkie said, "As I predicted, Fox News just ran a story about how TMZ is stirring up some shitstorms in DC. Looks like the greased palms of all those waiters and valets is paying off."
Yep.
Whoa, that's interesting.
I mean,
I'm
I
gonna have
haven't
to read that.
I haven't found anything that they've really done all that interesting. It really is true that, politics is just Hollywood for ugly people, and
Yeah.
I don't have any interest in it.
Corey Anderson said, "On one of your special episodes, like episode 1500, would y'all have your siblings on as guests?" No, no, I would not. What, would you?
I don't think so.
Well, it's also a question of, are they willing?
I don't know. I don't know if my brother would want to come on.
Yeah, neither do I. But also, like, even if they wanted to, I'd be like, no. This is not the place.
I gotta. I'm gonna send my brother a text later and be like, you know what? You wanna? You know what?
Just ask, just in case.
Like, would you do it if I asked? Like, first of all, he'd have to like fly here, and he doesn't have the time, so that would never happen. But yeah,
unless he did remote, but that's up to you and him, obviously. Shane H. Wilder said, "Okay, things with Ariana are starting to make sense." Yeah, it's all coming together. This all happened because she played with animal organs instead of toys as a child. That's why she's so crazy now.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, the artist formerly known as John Cuck Ask JD, said, "Bring back Valiant Renegade as a guest. Paid me."
Oh, well, that's awesome that he paid you to. So this was a paid advertisement. I will absolutely have Valiant on for, at the very least, for a remote episode at some point, but he's like a busy guy. He's got like a full-time real job. So we're always recording when everybody's still at work a lot of the time.
Right. Corey Anderson said Mary's favorite trinket is her rosary. I'm trying to think, does a rosary count as a trinket?
No, because it has sentimental value.
Not all rosaries have sentimental value.
I mean, I imagine that, like, so is the, like, have you had the same one for quite some time, or is it, do you replace them regularly?
No, I don't replace them. It unless they'll only break if you get a cheap one in the first place, but like, I would say a rosary has more inherent value than like a rock or a paper clip or whatever we saw in those videos. So maybe it's not a trinket, but still a nice thing to have.
Yep.
Okay. Are there any more
them?
super chats or on Rumble?
I think that is all of them. I'm just double checking here to make sure. Yes, we are all caught up. All right. Oh, one more here from Shane H. Wilder. He says, "I want to know if she named the organs like most kids name their stuffed animals. This is my liver, named Pookie."
I bet she did.
Could be.
That sounds like something she would do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, as always, hit the like button on this episode, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you've not subscribed here yet already, both on YouTube and on Rumble. And just a heads up, as I said before, I will be live on Saturday night at 7 p.m. on the Timcast Discord doing a bonus 1-hour episode of PCC. We're going to get into a little bit of the Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount merger, the stuff that's going on right now with with it being stalled. And then we'll hang out with you guys. Also, I'm going to be talking a little bit about The Rock's, A+ gold standard comments about the fact that nobody gave a shit about the new Moana movie. So you should come and join us for that. Sign up for a membership at timcast.com and come join us on the Saturday night show on the Discord. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mary, where can they find you?
You guys can send me validation on Instagram, that is Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X, that is also Mary Archived, and help me get TikTok famous, that is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. We had one more here from Pop Culture Junkie. Great show today. Have a great weekend.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
We deserve more credit.
That's worse than saying try being a streamer for a day.
Try it.
There's one more here from Shane H. Wilder. A rosary is a weapon, not a trinket. You can throw away a trinket. You have to burn or bury a broken rosary if it is blessed.
That's true. I guess that means it's definitely not a trinket.
There you go. All right, if you guys want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, which is noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch our show, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is a great way to help us out. Thank you guys so much for that. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisispod. Guys, we will be back with another episode on Monday. We will see you then.
Bye
everybody.